Hey guys, it's Casey and welcome back to my channel, and also welcome back to day 4 of Vlogmas. Even though, technically speaking, I have not uploaded day 3 yet. It is filmed, and it is completely and totally converted. It's just not edited, which I've decided is completely and totally fine because the promise was that I would film a new video every single day, not that I would edit and upload a new video every single day. Let's manage expectations here, because the truth of the matter is that I have worked 39 hours out of the last 48 hours. So I am not a machine. At this point in time, I am barely even a mammal. And why did I work so many ridiculous amount of hours in a row? Because our stupid fellow fell in love with a patient during a procedure. Some trucker came in needing his polynidal sinus drained, and by the way, do not Google search that. If you have no idea what that is, for the love of all things festive and pure, don't Google search it. You do not need to know. Just trust me on this, cherish your sweet innocence. Anyway, she apparently met the love of her life while she was elbow deep in crack pus, and then once she had finished patching his butthole up, she got into his truck and left with him like they were starring in some medically induced Hallmark Christmas special. And so, as the most senior member of the medical staff, I'm stuck covering her shifts until we can wrangle in a new few part-timers to fill in the gaps that she left behind, because she quit with no notice, by the way. And so, just the same as the last fellow who quit with no notice, I am not sending out her check. She's going to have to come back to the hospital to pick it up if she wants it. And I'm also not giving her a reference. So good luck explaining that to the college when you have to. So I hope the plot twist at the end of the Hallmark movie is that your trucker with the giant hole in his butt is a secret billionaire and he can ballerina farms you, because you're not graduating, not on my watch. And I know that sounds harsh, but that's just a reality. You do not quit. You're a fellow. You don't get to just quit and go on and live a happy life as a doctor. It's not going to happen. I'm going to make sure that it doesn't happen. But yeah, that's how I've ended up here today, hollowed out and tired and exhausted in the early hour morning of, I don't even know if it's day 5 or day 4. It doesn't really matter, but that's how I got here. Now that that rant is well and truly out of my system, we're going to move on to Vlogmas, which today is something a bit more thoughtful and a bit more softer than quitting your job in the middle of the night to run off with a trucker that you met an hour ago who's very, very hairy, to the point that, certain things accumulate on his body that I won't mention here because, like I said, it's gross. Don't Google search it. But today's video is going to be focused around the very first present that I opened in the advent calendar that Nate set me up, which is mainly this stack of journals. My mother's, my grandmother's, and my grandfather's life story. And when I first opened these journals, I was very, very confused, especially about my grandfather's life story journal for obvious reasons. But then I sat down and read the card that came with them, and it clicked in my head what they were for, and I suddenly got very, very excited to start filling them out. These aren't your typical prompt journals. They are a lot more reflective than most prompt journals that I've seen. So they don't just ask you questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? No, they ask very different kind of questions. Again, questions that are more reflective of where you've been in the past more than where do you see yourself in the future. Because I don't have trouble with where I see myself in the future. I'm very clear on where I see myself in the future. It's thinking about and reflecting on where I've been previously and how I got to where I am now. And they're not the same journal. Like, these two journals do not ask the same question. They each have their own distinct tone, and the way that they word things are different. Like, this one's directed to a grandfather, which I'm assuming from what I've read through it so far, I've only just flicked through it, it's aimed at a grown man who's in his 70s or 80s, where the mother one I think is more aimed at women who are in their 50s and 60s. And so the tone is very, very different. The language used is very, very different. And that variety works for me, especially because my own background is so unconventional. And oddly, from what I've seen so far, having just briefly flicked through the 3 journals and the 4th journal that I got, but that's from a different brand. And so I think I'm going to order my dad's life story from the same brand and get it sent in, because they're interesting journals. And strangely enough, I think the one that I relate to the most is my grandfather one. A lot of the times when I tell my stories, especially in a format such as a video, before I ever even turn on the camera, I end up sitting around for a little while trying to sort through what is the strangest thing that has ever happened to me that still falls within the realms of believability. And trust me, that in and of itself is already a very, very narrow category. I've had plenty of experiences that are weird, but so outside the realm of believability that I would never even waste time trying to tell them. Anytime I share even the PG-rated details of my life with anybody outside of my inner circle, I already know what to expect. People don't believe it, or people don't want to believe it. I call those my try to forget stories. Anyway, I was flipping through one of these journals at the reception desk at work yesterday when William wandered in looking for something. And for context, William is our security guy / janitor / sometimes chef. And he's a man of many, many trades and about 12 words maximum a day. And when he does decide to speak, what he says is either extremely weird or profoundly wise, and yesterday he decided to be a man of wisdom. Naturally, he was curious about why I was flipping through my grandfather's life journal, which is a very fair question, so I explained to him why Nate had gifted me the journals in the first place, and he sat down and he listened in a way that only William can, and when I was finished, he made the painfully good point that I already have the world's worst case of Cassandra syndrome since Cassandra herself, and so it might actually make me feel better if I stop trying to filter everything for public consumption and just tell the truth. Tell my story directly to an audience who can't judge me to my face, and if they don't believe it, so what? Does the lack of belief, someone else's lack of belief in what I'm saying, make it any less true? Which is something that I say all the time to everyone else, and so I guess that was William's gentle way of telling me to practice what I preach and to stop being a hypocrite, which, fair. And so you know what? Fine. I'm going to do it. I am going to stop tiptoeing around the truth, and I'm just going to dive headfirst into the deep end. I am going to go full watership down. And if people want to call me crazy for that, that's fine. What do I care? I don't care. And I don't know why I've been tiptoeing around it, because I don't care. I've never cared what anyone thought about me here or at home, so be it. If I'm crazy, then I'm crazy. That's my problem. It's no one else's. You can have a lolcow for all I care. But, and there is a but, there is a big, big but. I cannot lie. I'm still not going to tell anyone my name, because in the words of the great prophet of your time, Gossip Girl.
And who am I? That's a secret I'll never tell.
Anyway, onwards and upwards to the journaling process. I'm going to start with my mother's life just because that seems to be the less threatening of the three. And so I am going to go and fill out a few pages of this and maybe a few pages of that, because some of them have a bit of a crossover. They're worded differently, but they're crossed over. So might have some crossover in that regard, but yeah, we'll see. I'll come back and we will talk through the answers together.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I just filled in a few to get me going. I will fill in more over the coming days and we can have a discussion once they get a little bit more interesting than they are today, because today's is mainly focused around my parents, as I didn't fill them all in, I only filmed a few. But the first question is, what is your birthday and where were you born? Okay, so I was born on what you would call October the 8th, 3968, in Bethany, which was the capital city of the Republic of Bethel, which in and of itself was a teeny tiny but mighty appendix-sized country on the southeastern side of the continent of Ulimaroa, which you would know better today as the continent of South America. But do not ask me to point it out to you on one of your maps, because the borders are liable to change. And frankly, I need to keep a little bit of mystery. What are your parents' names and where were they born? So my mother was Dr. Kira Escamilla and my father was James Marquette. Dr. Kira was born on what you would call April the 25th, 3932, and James was born on September the 3rd, 3930. So there's about 2 years age difference between them. And oddly enough, strangely enough, if you would, they were both born in the exact same place, the exact same town, the exact same clinic, just a few years apart, which is really cool. So they were born in Termina, which is basically a resort town with, cocktails and cabana and the whole caboose. What is your middle name and who were you named after? So my middle name is Aramentha, and I was not named after anyone, though my middle name has a lot more flair to it because there is a story behind having my name. So originally my mother wanted to name me Camila, but our last name is obviously Esquimila, so my name would have been Camilla Escamilla. And when my grandmother discovered the plan, she hit the absolute roof and she threatened to petition the president to have me taken away from my mother at birth if she went through with it. And my grandmother was the mayor of our city, so she absolutely had the power to do that, and she would have done that. That was how she was built. That's the kind of woman that she was. And so in retaliation, my mother changed my name to the most blandest name that she could think of, which I'm still not sharing because my name still does not exist and I would prefer to keep it that way. But think along the lines of like Olivia or Jessica and you have my name. Seriously, even though my name does not exist right now, if I was to tell you my name, you would think that you've heard my name because it is that bland. Like, you would think, yes, I've heard that name before. You haven't, but you would think that you had because it's a pretty basic ass name. It just doesn't exist yet. But yeah, that's all I managed to do today because it is seriously late and I need to go to bed. And I didn't want to sit up writing all of this, but I will write more and discuss it more because I want to do that. And this is my channel. But not tonight because it's like really, really late and I still need to go and open my present from Nate and do whatever activity is in that envelope and hope that I don't need to leave my house in order to fulfill it. So fingers crossed about that.
A few inches later.
Make a snowman out of stuff found only within your freezer. Okay, because that's exactly what I want to be doing at midnight, but rules are rules. If I want to open that present, which I do, I'm going to have to sacrifice 15 minutes of my time and get my hands cold and probably oily and gross. Let's see what I come up with.
2 hours later.
I've got a shit ton of ice creams and freezer pies that I've impulse bought over the years that I'm going to try and turn into something because they've been sitting in there for who knows how long. I certainly don't know how long. These expired last year in 2024. So they've been in there for a while. So this is probably actually beneficial for me to have to do this task. So let's see what I come up with.
1 eternity later.
Here he is. Here's the final product. You can have a look. He's smiling in real life. I think the camera's like, but he's got clothes on. He's got a skirt. Well, I guess technically, well, it could be any gender, really. But he's wearing a skirt. He's got little legs. He's got celery legs. He's got hair. He's got a smiley face. He's got arms. So one of his arms is falling off. And he's chilling. He's chilling with his oversized Hermes bag. His oversized Birkin bag. And he's got a pretty stylish Puritan hairstyle going on. I'm a big fan of him. He was actually quite fun to make. A lot funner than I was expecting him to be. So thank you, Santa Nate, for this lovely task. And now I can move forward and open my present and see exactly what lovely gifts await for me on night 4 of Vlogmas. Again, I don't remember if it's night 4 or night 5. One of the nights. I'm going with night 4 though. So thank you for this lovely task. We're opening this one tonight. This one, other than the big present up the back, not the main present apparently, but the really, really big one is the only one with Grinch wrapping paper. So I'm assuming that he brought this for other people and then ran out of the wrapping paper that he was originally using. So let's open it and see exactly what little treats I've got tonight in store for me. I told you, everyone thinks that I am a Wicked superfan. So this is a Wicked gift. But if I'm to be honest, it's one of the Wicked gifts that I'm really, really happy to have received because it's the Wicked gift that I actually wanted. So I got these hair ties, which are really good, like I have said before. I am a scrunchy girly, so these will come in handy for me. So, and plus, I love the Yellow Brick Road, and these are Yellow Brick Road and Emerald City. Silk hair ties, very nice. Got some Wicked lip balms. These are color-changing ones, so that's also very fun. These are pH reactive. Very fun. And then, which I'm very happy about, I got the Wicked book. And I've been wanting to read the Wicked book since a few years now, and I've never been able to find one where I live. And I hate ordering off Amazon because I live in the middle of nowhere, so it can take up to 6 months for a book to arrive from Amazon, so I never ordered one. So he got me the Wicked book, but not just the Wicked book. Oh no. Because one thing about Nate is that he's always going to go above and beyond what he has to do. So not only did he get me that, he also got me the prequel of the Wicked book, which is Elfie, which is I'm also super, super excited to read because I've heard good things about it, and I would like to see exactly what her parents did that made her a wicked witch. Flip it upside down. What do you got? Wicked witch. Wow. So I am just as excited to read that. So another knocked it out the park gift from Nate for my advent calendar. So thank you very much, Santa Nate Claus, whatever you want to go with today. But yeah, so that's me done for the day, for the night. I will see you tomorrow. So this is Katie signing off the night. As always, stay weird out there, stay safe, and take some time to read tomorrow. I know that I definitely will. I will be ripping through those books at lightning speed. Thank you very much. Have a good night.